do 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 do. Let me stop, yo. What up, 3 times, man? What's going on with the family, yo? You know, when I pop out, man, I got something to say, man. Fuck the bullshit. You know, I have to take a little time to kind of figure out, you know, the niche to this thing. You know what I'm saying? This thing about us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of figuring out why our people is so attracted to, like, the superficial shit, like the vibration and the chakras and all the, you know, it's just feel good talk. Which I understand. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. You know, when you go through so much trauma and being that we dealing with, like, post-traumatic slave trauma, you know, we attach ourselves to things that are, you know, feel good to us and make us feel better, boost our self-esteem. But it's almost like a drug, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like a drug because, you know, when you take a drug like a pain pill, you take the pain pill and it masks the pain, but you know, you still not healed though. You understand what I'm trying to say? So what I realize is, you know, looking back at history and really studying and, you know, the plight of our people, the reason we was conquered in Africa is because we kind of stunted our own growth. You know, we didn't build on science and technology like we should have. You know, we had people who loved to deal with spirituality, even from back then. Then you had some of the people who dealt with the science and technology. That's the only way you come up with certain, you know, phenomena. Man, I got a fucking old fly here. That's the only way you come up with certain phenomena. So, you know, you have to deal with science and technology. For example, like the only way you come up with the horse and carriage, like we had in Kemet, it took a person to understand physics and stuff like that. You know, but, you know, obviously we ain't call it physics back then. But at the end of the day, you know, we had to deal with certain type of sciences. Same thing to today. You know, a lot of people who complain about the white man, they hate this, hate that, but your dumb ass on your cell phone still. You know what I'm saying? You still utilizing the technology. But anyway, you know, that's how we was able to be conquered. You understand what I'm saying? Because where we wanted to, and you know, another thing, it's the same thing now. You know, a lot of us want to hold certain information to ourselves. So, you know, you can even see, look like in, I don't want to keep using Kemet, but it's certain civilizations in ancient Africa that, you know, when we was dealing with metallurgy, which is like, you know, the manipulation of metal and smelting metal and shit like that to create certain weapons, you know, or whatever we want to create it for, you know, that was only for the elites, the so-called royal family and things like that. You know, the commoners wasn't blessed with that information. The reason they did that is because they felt like, you know, I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know the reason they did that. I'm pretty sure it was for a good reason in their mind. But what ended up happening was the information wasn't common. So when you had these people coming on boats and certain ships, and they weaponry was like, you know, so advanced, we didn't have the weaponry to fight back. You understand what I'm saying? Some of us did, but once they killed the right people, that information was gone. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of people who took, you know, great inventions to their grave. But the reason I'm doing this is because, you know, I'm tired of seeing people like Young Pharaoh, you know what I'm saying, who, you know, get up here and perpetrate and, you know, basically he's nothing but a conscious preacher. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to beat up on each other, but we have to have a mental civil war before we could push forward. Now, I'm not here to convince this brother because you got, you know, I'm not even trying to convince whoever watching this right now. The only people I'm not trying to convince anybody. What I'm trying to do is get us to think for ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? Think for ourselves with the proper tools. And the proper tools is the study of nature. And the study of nature and the observation of nature is what we call science. And, you know, a lot of people push away from science. They say like, well, you know, science is not real, it's not exact, you know, because it's nothing but a bunch of theories. But, you know, we when we don't pay attention to details, we can get confused, because it's a difference between a regular theory, you know, in a colloquial term, versus a scientific theory. Now, you could go on Google right now and go look up the difference between a regular theory, you know, like saying, you know, the skies look great. I believe it's gonna rain today, versus a scientific theory, like, you know, once the clouds get saturated to a certain point, you know, it's always gonna rain. This is you know, the difference is, you know, scientific theory is it's supported by facts. That's the difference. That's the major difference. You know, and what I'm trying to learn now is and it's not easy to do. We got to make science and math and everything like that more attractive to the people. Just as attractive as twerking. Just as attractive as fucking polygamy. Just as attractive as the chakras and all that dumb shit. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, it's for the benefit of our people. And we tend to kind of like, we don't have foresight. You know, we got hindsight. Once the shit happened and we fucked over, now what we gonna do now? Now we should have thought about it and took preventive measures. You understand what I'm trying to say? But, you know, I'm always going to beat up on this pseudoscience because it's strangely mixed with the truth. And when you hear it, you be like, yo, this shit makes sense. Do it really. On the surface, it makes sense because of our limited understanding of other fields such as science and math and nature. You understand what I'm saying? I'm always going to say that, you know, because this is the foundation of it's the foundation of information. We have to learn the basics. Like before you got into calculus and algebra and all that, you have to learn basic arithmetic. You have to learn your addition, your subtractions and shit like that. So it's a stepping stone. But what we got to do, man, for all the teachers out there, you know, the ones who really do comprehend, try to make it more attractive. Like, let's stop using such big words. Like, break it down. You understand what I'm saying? A person I always like to use as an example is Brother Polite. Because like, it's people like him who use his vocabulary to his advantage. It's always a way to simplify what you're saying so that the average person can understand. But people like him use that as leverage, because if you believe that he's smarter than you, you know, he will always have that power over you. You will always have to go to him. You understand what I'm saying? To my understanding, a true teacher is a person who want to bring you up to their level and you know, give you the tools to surpass them, because it's not about the individuals. It's about how long we gonna last as a species on this planet. You understand what I'm saying? Not even a species, as a breed of the human species. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the difference between us and other so-called races. There's no such thing as race. You know, we use race because we accepted certain terms, but there's no such thing as race. Is everybody, you know, it's only the African. It's only us. It's only the African, and everybody else is a mutated form of the African, or watered down form, however you want to say it. You know what I'm saying? Through mutation. You know, so we got to stop getting so spooky. You know, we got to start taking shit serious. The brother Hassan, he made a good point. We got to start understanding what it is to be African as well. You know what I'm saying? Are we African? You know, because if you're dealing with chakras and yoga and all that, you're not really African. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, but you know, I thought we was trying to be African and deal with African spirituality, which I don't even agree with African spirituality. You know, African spirituality is science. You understand what I'm saying? When our ancestors was creating certain tools to hunt, you know, certain tools to survive, when we was creating the pyramids, you understand what I'm saying? Because you still got people who don't believe it was people who created the pyramids. They was able to do that because they didn't have the distractions we got. They wasn't going around shaking their ass all day talking about this type of dance is culture. They was studying nature to survive, and they lives depended on it. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, you know, once our lives depend on certain shit, maybe we'll get serious. You know, but you know, you have to study nature to align the fucking pyramids with certain you know, certain stars and shit like that. Like, that shit is real. You understand what I'm saying? You have to study nature. You know, it wasn't no GPS back then. So if you in the middle of the woods, I don't know whoever went hiking, but if you go hiking, they got to have signs on the trees, because if you don't have signs on the trees, most of us will get lost in the woods. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't know how to tell the difference between certain trees. You know what I mean? We'll fuck around, be going in a circle and be lost right in the little fucking so-called forest. You know what I mean? It was our ancestors who knew, like, break this branch right here. That way we know we went this way already. You understand what I'm saying? They had to study nature to track certain animals. You know, same thing with this vegan shit. Like, we not being African. Now, when we say African, I do acknowledge that Africa is not one whole culture. You know, it's 50-something countries in that continent. Africa is a continent. It's not like America. It's a continent. And there's 50-something countries in that continent, and thousands of fucking different tribes. You understand what I'm saying? And they all do their thing their own way. But what I do know our survival as the human species, the reason we was able to go any and everywhere and populate the world wasn't by being a fucking vegan. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you want to be a vegan and that's a clean diet, what have you. In my opinion, the reason people is getting sick from meat and things like that is the conditions of the animals. You know, we wasn't eating chickens that's in the chicken coop, 1,000 chickens next to each other. They shitting and pissing on each other, probably throwing up, because, of the conditions and, getting leg sores and, different mutations to make them, and the steroids to make them get bigger faster. When we was eating off the land, it wasn't like that. You understand what I'm saying? We'd eat a wild fowl, a wild boar, that ate off the land. You understand what I'm saying? And it was rare and few. You understand what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like you could just go to McDonald's and get something to eat. You had to, sometimes you was starving and you out there like, yo, I'm hungry as fuck, yo, and I might not eat today because I might not find a fucking animal. So our ancestors had to study nature to learn how to track animals. You understand what I'm saying? The study of nature and science and technology is very important to our survival as a fucking breed of the human species. We only focus on us right now. Everybody else doing them. But I just wanted to explain how important science and technology really is and math really is. You understand what I'm saying? Like all that fake superficial shit, doing yoga and going vegan. Like, yo, not for nothing, it's even plants that eat meat. You even got plants that eat meat. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like the goal is to survive, B. The goal is to survive. I seen this one video, and I'm about to get off soon, but I seen this one video of this sister in Africa, man. She was eating like, I don't know if you ever had a shish kebab, like it's like beef and shit on a stick, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you could put chicken, shrimp, whatever, vegetables, peppers and all that. She was eating a rat, dude. She was eating like a roasted rat, and it was good to her. And a lot of people was talking shit, and they talk shit about the fucking about the Asians eating dogs and shit. The reason that shit is weird to us, because that's not part of our custom and culture. If your mother would have put a piece of dog in your mouth and first of all, niggas eat fucking pig asshole, B. It's niggas who still eat pig asshole, chitlins and hog maws and all that crazy shit. So we gotta stop being so judgmental, because what we fail to realize, the only reason we was eating certain type of food is for fucking survival. The only reason you eat is for survival. You know what I can't stand, yo? I can't stand when I be looking at these little cooking channels on Instagram, and they like to make the food so pretty and all the different colors with that white people shit. And the only thing that I could think in my mind, like, yo, in a couple hours, all that pretty shit is gonna turn to shit. All that pretty bullshit is gonna turn right into fucking turds. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, and it's superficial, fake, stupid shit, yo. And I know a lot of people probably look at me like, oh my God, what's wrong with this man? Energy, this, that, and the third. Like, nothing wrong with my energy. I'm a fucking realist, yo. You niggas is acting like fucking retards, B. Real talk, following the wrong people. Like, y'all getting natural tips from people who's not natural. That's crazy to me. So, I didn't really try to make this video a negative joint, but, certain frustrations. But what I really tried to do was, the whole point of this video, like I said, I'm about to get off, is to promote science, to promote math, to promote the study of nature. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that counts. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I say this, and another thing, for the people who do understand nature, science, and math, when you teach, so-called teaching the people, make it simple, yo. Break it down. This is why, I don't know if y'all familiar with Brother Ankh. His name is Ankh Kek. Well, they call him Brother Ankh. The real black atheist. And don't get afraid of his name. He break down why he call himself the real black atheist. But the reason, he might be the most brilliant brother in the fucking community, yo. Even more so than the doctors around him, because he deal with real scholars and doctors. But what makes him more brilliant than them, he understand everything they understand to a certain extent. But when he break it down to the people, he can break it down to anybody in the fucking hood. Anybody, like, he could break it down to anybody. And that's a sign of intelligence right there. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got people who regurgitate what they read in the book, word for word. That tell me you don't comprehend what's really being said. But if you could really break it down and simplify that shit, that means that shit is internalized. You know it. You can repeat it at the drop of a dime. You understand what I'm saying? That's brilliance to me. So for the family who really do got a comprehension of the real information and real knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Break it down so it's attractive to our people, just like the chakras, just like the yoga shit, just like the, you know, these so-called conscious preachers, B. Niggas like, what's the nigga name? Young Pharaoh. He's a fucking conscious preacher, B. These people is con men. The nigga name is Young Pharaoh Aten. But he don't believe the Medu Neter. The Medu Neter is the hieroglyphs, the ancient Egyptian language. He don't believe that shit was fucking deciphered. He don't believe that we understand what's being written. But his name is still Pharaoh Aten. Like, where's you getting that from? How do you not believe that, but you still carry on that name? How do you know what say Aten? How do you know what the Aten is? How do you know what a pharaoh is if you don't believe it been deciphered? See, niggas just be talking. And unless you really study and understand and comprehend, you know, people could pull tricks on you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to down the young dude, yo. My thing is like this, yo. Find your lane, B. Yo, you fight decent. Go ahead and be an MMA fighter. You make decent rap. You make decent music. Go ahead and do music, but stop trying to teach, my man. Like, you're not on the level right now, B. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, family, you know, I just want to arm us with the tools to survive in this chaotic world. And the only way we're going to survive is thinking for ourselves, for one. Don't believe shit I say. Look up any and everything that anybody say. You understand what I'm saying? Look up and research. That's why it's called research. You know what I'm saying? You don't just look at it once. You look at it from this source, you look at it from that source and every other source, and you compare and contrast the information, and then you use your discernment. You understand what I'm saying? You use your discernment to figure out if what's being said is bullshit or not. You understand what I'm saying? And then you also use scientific method, which is, you know, you have to experiment, you have to observe, you have to do certain things, change certain variables. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, you gotta, I'm still trying to master breaking this shit down because, you know, a lot of it is complex. That's another person who's real brilliant is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He breaks down astrophysicism, yo, like it's fucking math, yo, like it's 1 + 2. You know what I'm saying? These are the people who are fucking geniuses. But what I'm saying is, you got to do certain experiments. Like, go look up the scientific method. You can't just say, oh, this shit sound like it makes sense. It's true. Oh, this shit sound like it don't make sense. It's not true. It don't work like that. Because the universe is not of any obligation to make sense to us. You understand what I'm saying? So, family, I love y'all, man. But go check out, you know, just try to think about what I'm saying. You know, if you want to do your little yoga, you want to do your chakras and all that, like, yo, be proud of who you are. Like, find out what we was doing in our culture. You know what I mean? You love to dance, go ahead and dance, yo. But don't stunt, don't hinder your creativity. Because what I see now, a lot of our women, like, all our women do is fucking twerk, B. And I be like, and then they got the little kids gyrating and shit like that. And we got the nerve to fix our mouth to try to defend every little bullshit that we do. Talking about this is our culture. From where? From Africa? Now, I understand that in Africa, you know, some of our dances was like that where we moved the hips. But also, we have other fucking type of dances. Like the Maasai. When they did their little dancing, they would jump in the air. Like the Zulus. They did a lot of stomping, you know what I'm saying? Kicking I don't know if y'all ever see the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, but they kick their leg up in the air similar to like the Zulus. What's another one? The Ethiopians. You see certain tribes, you know, in Ethiopia, you know, they do a little thing with their chest. You know what I mean? They gyrate their chest. You understand what I'm saying? So every move is not just to move your pelvic area and shake your fucking ass. Yo, use your fucking brain, B. You know what I'm saying? I seen the queen, and I know she ain't mean to do that, but this is the sophistication of the tricks. You know, somebody made a meme talking about, you know, the sisters in South Africa wasn't sexualized for when they, you know, not having nothing over their chest, their breast was out. And, you know, which makes sense. This is how this pseudoscience work. That makes sense. But, also in the same breath, they said people are slut shaming those African sisters who had their breasts out. And I'm like, yo, slow down. Everybody like, true, agreeing with any and everything that sound clever. But it's like, yo, you are literally equating and comparing these indigenous sisters to their culture to fucking sluts. And you letting this woman who is a real life slut and whore, you understand what I'm saying, dictate the way you think. Yo, it's real crazy, yo, because I look at our women today and how they dress. The dresses with their legs out, almost to their ass. Dresses that see-through. They got their titties out. Some of them wear the little shit over their nipples, some of them don't. But I'm like, yo, that's dead, yo. See, a lot of y'all is little fucking kids. But, you know, for us who was born in the 90s and, you know, and from New York and certain areas, yo, that's literally how prostitutes used to dress. That's exactly how prostitutes used to dress. You understand what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but, you know, I say the truth out of love, yo. But at the end of the day, family, like, we got to do better. We got to start thinking for ourselves. Don't let outside forces dictate, you know, who we are. You know what I'm saying? Don't stunt your creativity. You know what I mean? Like we come from the era of the pop lock, of the moonwalk, certain dances that, you know, that we, you know, what's that shit in LA? The crumping. You know what I'm saying? We came up with creative dances to express ourselves, yo. So, you know, just be careful how you express yourself, man. You know what I mean? And get a little bit more in tune with science and math and technology and history and nature. You understand what I'm saying? That's the only way we gonna survive out here, man. Real talk, man. Ain't about nobody else but us. We don't have to hate nobody to survive, yo. Real talk. But with that being said, man, it's the G King Shoe, man. Alright, hope chat, man.